Hey everyone, it's Dr. Lisa here. It is May here in Michigan, and I'm sitting on my rooftop garden, and we're getting ready to plant lots of things here. So I wanted to talk about being outdoors and using doTERRA outdoors for yourself and in your garden. Why use chemicals and synthetics, especially if you're, concerned about clean eating and healthy eating, growing your own vegetables or that kind of thing. Why would you spray them with chemicals and things? So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. But first, just being outside, there's a lot of pollen flying around. A lot of people have sensitivities and seasonal allergies and those kinds of things. So we have, choices. There's tons of commercials for synthetic allergy medicines like Claritin and Allegra and Zyrtec and Benadryl and blah, 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 and prescription ones as well. And those are okay, but once again, they are synthetics. They do have side effects. Oh, my dog's in the background here. Some of them make you feel drowsy. I don't know about you, but I really don't like taking them at all. So we have a natural alternative with doTERRA Tri-Ease. This is called the seasonal blend. And the cool thing about it is they're already made up in these little soft gels that you can just take just like you would take an allergy medicine. So it's very simple. All it is 2 drops each of lavender, lemon, and peppermint. So if you don't have the soft gels and you have your own veggie caps, you can make up your own, but it's kind of nice and convenient to have these already made up. When we're using veggie caps, they're designed to dissolve, so you really can't make them in advance. They'll start leaking and stuff like that, especially with the lemon. So these soft gels are really nice. Hi, I don't know who's here, but welcome to the call. I'm recording. So I'm talking about Tri-Ease here. So lemon and lavender are natural antihistamines, and the peppermint kind of helps open up your airways and helps you breathe. So some people are sensitive to lavender, and obviously if you're allergic to lavender, I don't recommend taking it internally. I am going to mute who was ever on because I don't know who's on here. On this call, but I hear some background noise, so I am going to just mute this person. But thank you for joining. I don't know who you are, but thank you for joining. And anyway, so if you are unable to tolerate lavender, you can make your own version of Tri-Ease, but just substitute cilantro. So you're going to use lemon, cilantro, and peppermint, 2 drops each in a veggie cap, and you're going to get some good antihistamine, anti-allergy effects with that. My next topic I want to discuss is bugs, ticks, mosquitoes, and bug repellents, right? So when we're outside, we have to worry about being bit by things. So obviously the first course of action is prevention, right? So so basically you want to use a good bug spray. So there's a lot of stuff out there. You can go on the Centers for Disease Control website and the Environmental Protection Agency website. So they're talking about mosquitoes and ticks and things like that, and they often recommend DEET or things with DEET or other chemicals in them as being effective, which they are, but you are putting chemicals on your skin. So DEET, we know, is a neurotoxin. You really have to watch out how much you're putting on the skin of your child or your baby. So that's a little concerning to me. And then there's other chemicals that, kill fish, and, they've got these long chemical names and blah, blah, blah. The only other substance that the EPA and CDC recommend is oil of lemon eucalyptus. And the interesting thing is when I look on their website and they look at the alternatives, the substances that and the companies of lemon oil eucalyptus that they're recommending are actually using synthetic copies of the essential oil and not really the real essential oil. So once again, you know, you're using a synthetic, you're buying something that says, you know, natural, organic, you know, Cutter or one of those other brands that, you know, off, you know, the ones that you usually see in the store. But once again, you're getting something synthetic and you're putting it on your skin. So I kind of took this picture of, I made this little ad here, which is not showing up really well, but, you know, here we've got all of our synthetic types of products in the store, and then we have our natural, highly effective Terra Shield. So Terra Shield is a combination of lemon eucalyptus oil plus several other very highly effective anti-bug oils, so repellent oils. So in here we've got ylang ylang, we've got Timanu seed oil, we've got Nootka and arborvitae, which are kind of cousin types of oils, cedarwood, catnip, and Lycia vanilla, vanilla bean extract. And it's in a fractionated coconut oil base. It's convenient in this spray pump bottle, and you can throw it in your bag and take it with you. You can also make bigger batches. I can give you a recipe for that if you want to cover the whole family or you want to keep refilling this bottle. You can buy the 15 ml bottle of the Terra Shield, and you can keep making your own. You can even buy empty plastic bottles like this on your doTERRA DIY section of your shop page, and you can make your own as well if you're into that. I like to reuse things, so I will keep reusing this one as well when it's empty. So that's kind of cool. So, you know, also everybody's not only concerned about mosquitoes and other stinging, biting insects like black flies can get really bad up north in Michigan. And then there are, you know, other bugs if you're traveling to warmer climates you might want to worry about. And then there's ticks. So I don't think this is going to come out that good either, but I will post this. So we've got to worry about deer ticks and other ticks. Like the American dog tick is not a concern for us, although you probably don't want your pet to have a lot of ticks on it. How do we tell the difference? So you can Google Michigan tick ID card, or pretty much any state I think has a similar version of this. The problem with the deer ticks is they're really, really tiny. They're really, really hard to see. So you really want to put your Terra Shield on, and you want to wear long sleeves and long pants and follow the recommendations, especially if you're going to be camping or going out in the woods or whatever. And you certainly want to check your skin and your kid's skin and your hair and stuff after you've been outside, and make sure you don't find any ticks. So the deer tick is a very, very teeny tiny tick with black legs. The dog tick is a lot bigger and it's got brown legs. That's one of the ways to distinguish it. And then there's also the Lone Star tick, which is kind of more common in a little bit more Midwest and Central West states, but that can also involve a disease called Rocky Mountain Spotted Fever, which is kind of like the tick version of measles, you know, with a rash and a fever and flu symptoms and all that. So not a fun disease to get as well. And as we know, Lyme disease is absolutely not a great disease to contract at all either. And if you've, you know, been bit by a tick and you've got a circular red rash that's expanding, you really need to go see your doctor ASAP, right? What if you find a tick on your skin or on somebody else's skin? You know, there's really good diagrams on the CDC website for proper tick removal with tweezers, and they recommend removing the tick in a perpendicular fashion. You might find some videos of people putting peppermint on ticks and having them back out. There's a little controversy about that, because whenever we're causing distress to the tick by putting peppermint on, or, you know, burning it, or putting Vaseline on it, or whatever other home remedy you've ever heard of, there's always a chance that the tick's going to regurgitate inside of you, and that's how you're going to get the spirochete, that bacteria that causes Lyme disease. So I recommend still following the recommendations of just pulling it straight out with the tweezer from the Centers for Disease Control. But even though that, you know, it's like, how do you know if the tick is vomited or not? You know, if you've got saliva exposure or not, you really don't know. So you really want to check for ticks. You want to have them removed as soon as possible to lessen the chance of having that spirochete disease known as Lyme disease being transmitted. And then there are other versions of Lyme disease. There's Powassan, and there's a few others. So you know, ticks in general are definitely not good to have around. So that's about bug stuff. And my last topic I want to talk about is just kind of using essential oils in your garden, right? So here I've got my, I got some spinach I just bought, and oops, I just dropped my Terra Shield. And I'm going to be planting lots of plants in the garden, and I'm not going to be spraying them, but what if there's aphids on them or bugs on them? What kinds of things can I do with my essential oils to repel pests on my plants? So I actually have a really cool handout, gardening tips, with a really comprehensive list, and I will I can email this out to you if you want it. So basically going through every bug you can think of and what oils are naturally repelling those bugs. So peppermint basically is your best friend. Peppermint pretty much repels almost everything you can think of, creepy crawly wise. But it's also great for repelling deer. It's great for mice, rabbits, moles, groundhogs, and other critters that might be eating your plants. So you can soak a few cotton balls in with your peppermint, place them in the holes created by the rodents. You can make a concentrated spray and spray it around. You can spray the edges of your garden or your house. You can also grow the peppermint plant, but I recommend putting that in pots, otherwise it kind of goes everywhere and takes over. But this is a lot easier to do, and it's a lot stronger for that as well. You can also make a peppermint spray in your home and go around the baseboards, like say you've got ants coming in or carpenter ants, things like that. You know, bugs sometimes come in, or mice come in into your home. You can help discourage that with your peppermint, right? You can make your own weed killer. You can take 10 drops of cinnamon oil in an 8-ounce spray bottle and fill it with water, shake well, and you can put it on weeds like dandelions and things like that without using any Roundup or poisons or things like that. So certainly don't want that in your grass. You don't want your pets to be exposed to those kinds of chemicals as well. So that is really cool too. Other oils that repel bugs besides peppermint. Hold on a second, I'm just going to close this door. Sorry. Cedarwood is another big one. If you think about cedarwood as repelling kind of slimy things like slugs and those types of things that might be attacking your vegetable garden plants. Geranium is another one. People would, before we had kind of screens in the windows, people would plant geraniums in their window boxes, not only because they look great, but the essential oil of geranium naturally repelled bugs like flies and things. So when we didn't have screens on windows, people would use geraniums to help reduce the number of flies and bugs coming into the house, right? So other things are lemongrass, thyme. I'm not going to go through this whole list right now, but you can certainly ask me questions. Another cool thing to do is to buy one of those big heavy-duty plastic gallon garden sprayers from a gardening store or on Amazon or something like that. Don't use an old one that might have pesticide residue in it. Get a new one. And you can make your own spray for your plants using the 1 gallon garden sprayer and mixing in your peppermint or your other concoction for spraying on your plants. And the last thing I want to I guess my suggestion would be in the 1 gallon spray bottle would be peppermint, eucalyptus, and either cedar wood or Siberian fir in the 1 gallon spray bottle. And you don't really need that much. You just need about 20 drops of total in there, and that would be fine. So sometimes when you've got like zucchini or things, you might notice that there's fungus growing on the bottom of the leaves. And that's where your Melaleuca is going to come in handy. So you can make like a little baby spray bottle with your Melaleuca and water and spray the bottoms of those leaves if you start seeing that fungus kind of growing on them. I actually use a little spray bottle of Melaleuca for lots of different things because it really is a great disinfectant, and I use this in my gym bag for spraying off my heart rate monitor because it gets all sweaty, and my sneakers and things like that. So this definitely comes in handy for more than just the garden. Another cool tip is if you've got cut flowers, you know, after you cut the bottoms off and you put them in your vase, you might put 1 or 2 drops of your Melaleuca in the water in the vase, and that actually helps discourage the rotting of the leaves and the stems, and it increases the length of the vitality of your flowers, of your cut flowers. So even if you get cut flowers somewhere, or if you're just cutting them from the backyard, you can extend the beauty and the life of those cut flowers with a couple of drops of Melaleuca in your vase. So that's kind of fun and kind of cool also. So I think that is about all I wanted to talk about with gardening outside. If you have any questions, let me know. I do have a recipe for treating sunburn with lavender, Melaleuca, and Roman chamomile. There are plenty of other things that we can do outside, but I just want to keep this kind of short and sweet, and I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, let me know. I will unmute. Any questions? All right, well, I have recorded this so that I can send it to people that may not have been able to participate today. Thank you for listening. I'm going to do a super short version of this on my Facebook page right now, do a Facebook Live, and you can watch the shorter version there if you missed this longer version. But once again, I should hopefully have this packaged up and be able to send out via email for people who missed it. So thanks for listening. I hope you learned something. Oh, I have one more quick tip. There are oils that kind of attract pollinators and things like that, like wild orange and stuff like that. And also, you know, our pollinators, like our bees and stuff, they need to drink water too. So actually have like a little thing on top of my table here with some glass beads in it. You can use marbles. But a lot of times if you have like a water pond or something like for birds, bees will drown in it because they have nothing to land on. So they can land on these little glass beads or marbles and they can drink their water, and then they can go on and pollinate all of your plants in your garden. So that's awesome. All right, so thanks for listening and thanks for joining in, and I hope you learned something, and get outside and enjoy. Bye.